This is safe to do on a coated car. This is safe to do on an uncoated car. This is safe to do on any car.
This vehicle has years of accumulated grime, and I'm wondering, what do we do?
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. What are we gonna do? An exothermic pre-wash. That is our combination of all clean and water spot remover to create a reaction on the surface to safely take this grime off the surface. This vehicle was parked for 3 years. It hasn't been washed. The owner was kind enough to not wash it and bring it to us this way.
Exothermic pre-wash. If you haven't seen our short that went viral on the internet, millions of views, then you probably haven't heard of this. But maybe you have heard of it.
Yeah.
You want to see it kind of displayed on a vehicle. Either way, Ivan, you've got the information, you've got the products.
Right. Now, the first product is all clean, diluted 15:1. We spray it over the whole surface. Very simple. The next part is applying water spot remover. So we're using an alkaline as the base and then putting an acid into it. That reaction that the two cause, slightly exothermic. No, it's not gonna create heat. It's not gonna get, it's not gonna do an explosion, but at the same, you get down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ivan, I have DIY Detail water spot remover. I'm lightly misting it everywhere that you sprayed the all clean. What is it doing?
So there is a chemical reaction between the all clean, which is alkaline, and the water spot remover, which is acidic. That reaction is breaking the bonds of the dirt from the surface. It's that simple. Now we call this an exothermic reaction because it is slightly exothermic. It's a word that's easy to remember. But in reality, some people, when you say exothermic, they think an explosion. It's not that violent, trust me. Now this is something you do not want to do unless you know the chemicals have been tested to do together, because sometimes that reaction can be violent and it can be dangerous. So don't go mixing an alkaline and an acid together unless you have prior knowledge of them or the company is telling you it's safe to do.
That's Ivan's way of saying don't take another company's wheel acid and mix it with another company's degreaser, right?
No,
these are the two products we're telling you work together. Stick with this or know that the dangers are real.
Now, this is safe to do on a coated car. This is safe to do on an uncoated car. This is safe to do on any car. Single stage, PPF, you name it, it's safe. Because that reaction is a mild reaction. It's not, like we say, an explosion. This is the same chemistry or same type of chemistry that many touch-free car washes use.
So what vehicles are a good candidate for the exothermic wash?
It's not something you do every week. It's not something you do on your car if you regularly maintain it. This is for a neglected vehicle, like this one was parked outside for 3 years and didn't move. That is when this becomes the case. That short that you said went viral was on my pickup truck that I bought 6 months ago, and the previous owner said he hadn't washed it in the 6 years he owned it. So that is a case that it needed that. In general though, you don't need to do this, but it's nice to have in your back pocket just in case, okay? Now, we're not gonna be using a pressure washer. The owner requested that we didn't do that because of the roof. So we won't do that. It has a tendency to leak a little bit. Now we can see how it effortlessly lifted away 3 years worth of dirt.
Does the exothermic wash mean we don't need to do a contact wash? Like we're good?
No, we still are going to be doing a contact wash. This is a pre-wash. It is not a wash. I'm just going to flood the top here just to make sure it's nicely rinsed out.
If I'm so impressed by the results of this as a pre-wash, Ivan,
Yes.
I might be tempted to do the exothermic on every single vehicle I ever touch, every time I wash a car.
If you want to, you can, but you're really wasting your time. A vehicle that's well maintained, you can just use rinseless wash or Incredible Suds as your pre-wash. That's all you really need. There's no need for a high pH, low pH, whatever pH pre-wash. They're great marketing, they're really not necessary. Like I said, this we reserve for a vehicle that's very dirty, very grungy, and hasn't been washed in a long time.
So what do we do next?
We do our contact wash, and our contact wash we're gonna be doing with rinseless. Now these wheels have had brake dust embedded on them for 3 years, and it's done a number to them. It's actually etched in. But I sprayed a bit of iron remover on there. I'm going to add some more all clean on the wheels, and we'll let that dwell while we're washing the exterior of the vehicle. For the contact wash, we're using rinseless wash. In this, I've got it diluted 256:1, 4 milliliters to a liter. Just spread it over the surface to give us a base to work off.
That gives us lubrication before we put anything that will touch the paint.
Correct. There you go, Nick, if you want to do your side.
And what is this contraption we're using here?
That's a Pump Zero. Very simple, easy. Get it at your local home store. They work great.
So Ivan, what if I don't put rinseless wash on the surface before I contact wash? I've got rinseless wash in my bucket. I've got the Legacy sponge here made to work specifically with rinseless wash. What if it was just wet and I went to town?
Not a safe way to do things, Nick. We have a system, use it. I'd like to show you something, starting with a clean sponge. We know how dirty this panel was. We have a little bit of grime that the contact wash removed, but we don't have all that dirt that was accumulated. And I just touch it to my rinseless wash bucket, squeeze it out, I have a nice clean sponge once again.
This looks like a vehicle you would drive, Ivan. I don't know why I would say that, but you tend to like some quirky cars out there.
Come on.
I'm not calling this quirky.
No, Miata's not quirky.
But by a modern standard, this is quite a small little car with a lot of character.
Yeah, they're a fun little car to drive. To clean the roof, I'm using our wheel and body brush. I'm just gonna go in and scrub the roof with that. Now there's some staining on this roof. You can see it probably had some water dripping on it at some point. This is not gonna remove that staining. But we can give it a bit of all clean, brush that in, it might help a little bit. This is a cloth top, so we'll work this into the cloth and see if we can get some of that staining out of there. Once we rinse it off, we'll see. Next step is decontamination. We've cleaned it, we've done all we can do that way. Now it's time to decontaminate. To do so, we use iron remover on our quad fold towel, 1 spray on the towel, 1 spray on the panel, match them up, and off we go.
You know, this looks like there's just water on the paint, Ivan. This is a base level of lubrication with our rinseless wash.
Right, this is the rinseless wash combined with the iron remover for excellent lubrication, but at the same time, getting that dirt off of there. Decontamination towel has 4 sides, hence why we call it the quad fold. So use the 4 sides, then dip it back in your wash bucket.
Do not forget about glass either.
Very important. Now, if you have your glass towels that lint when you're drying your windows, it's probably because they're contaminated. This is one way of making it easier on you. Now that sound on the lower parts, it's not because it's that contaminated. It has a gravel guard type finish to it.
Ivan, if I'm not a professional detailer, I've got my car that I love. Do I need to invest in all these products? I mean, a decontamination towel, a bottle of iron remover, a Legacy sponge, like where does it end? You know, what do I need, what do I not need?
I would say the iron remover, the Legacy sponge, and the quad fold towel are non-negotiable. You need those to properly maintain your paint. Now, pressure washer, foam cannon, that's optional. One area where people do overspend and overthink it, Nick, is on the chemical side of things. Buying a bug remover, buying a tar remover, buying a wheel cleaner, then buying a tire cleaner. Those are all the same things.
Then buying your 5th different spray sealant. Listen, it's fun, but in the necessary, not necessary category, I agree with you. That's why we have a system, and it's so easy to follow. We have a soap, we have a rinseless wash, we have a spray sealant. Our stuff does what it says it does. It's easy to use, and it works.
Yeah, instead of having multiple chemicals to do one job, we have one chemical that does multiple jobs.
Ivan, Miata stands for something, I was told.
It does in the enthusiast community. It's Miata is always the answer.
M-I-A-T-A?
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
You want a car to drive to have fun? Miata is always the answer. You want a car to drive to work? Miata is always the answer. You want a track day car? Miata is always the answer, et cetera, et cetera.
I gotcha.
So I want to be sure to rinse away all clean that we put on the roof. So I'm going to rinse just a little more than I normally do.
Ivan's rinsing, I'm spraying. You know, you thought you were done with the water spot remover, but when we're doing the proper decontamination steps, we don't skip anything. So we water spot remover after iron remover. Think about this as a mineral cleanse. Ivan, why am I spraying water spot remover?
Water spot remover is an integral part of any decontamination. The reason for the water spot remover is you have minerals that accumulate on the vehicle. We know this vehicle has been sitting for 3 years outside. We know there are minerals attached to this paint. It's just inevitable. So by doing this, we're going to remove those minerals and unlock as much beauty as we can from this paint. Less moisture in the air, but a lot more on the ground because you don't have that big mist of the pressure washer. So. One important step with the water spot remover is agitation. I'm using a rinseless dampened towel and I've wrung it out till it's almost dry. I'm gonna fold it nicely and you're only gonna use one side of the towel. Very important, because I'm gonna make sure once again that it's nicely wrung out. And now we just distribute, agitate, make sure that we get the water spot remover everywhere on this vehicle. Lately in the shop, we've had a string of larger vehicles. It's fun to have a small one once in a while.
Why don't we flip the side of the towel, Ivan? I've noticed detailers love to flip their towel, and yes. I'm in that camp. I like to flip my towel for every section, you know, keep it clean. I don't want to drive anything into paint.
Right.
But we don't flip during the water spot remover stage.
No, because we have nothing to drive into the paint. We've done the mechanical decontamination and the contact wash. But what we do want to do is spread it. If we were flipping our towel every time, we'd be absorbing it off the surface instead of spreading it over the surface. Now we get to rinse and reveal the shine that's underneath.
The water behavior is really nice on this paint. You're gonna see that after water spot remover. Now the vehicle may not have much beading left to give. If it doesn't have beading to give, then you're not gonna see it come back. But oftentimes we get our pores so clogged up with whatever's kicked up from the roads, especially in the wintertime in the Midwest. You know, they're doing ice melt on the roads, whatever. This is probably not a super winter driven car, but the pores of your clear coat or your coating get clogged and the beading disappears. So after water spot remover, that mineral cleanse, all of a sudden I see water beads and I see a lot of behavior where this water just runs away on the paint. Ivan, you were doing the hosing off. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it looks great. The water was running off nicely. We've cleaned the car. We've deep cleaned it. We're back to raw paint, and that's the way it should be. Now, to make this vehicle a little easier to dry, I'm going to be applying a bit of NV ceramic detail spray. And since we're in a controlled environment here, I don't need to apply it panel by panel. As I go, I can just apply it on the surface, just a few sprays, and spread it in with my towel.
Why do we use a drying aid, Ivan, versus just raw paint? We've done all the right wash steps, like We're all about safety around here. Why not just dry it and not mess around with any other products?
Extra lubrication, and we're gonna get more gloss, more shine out of it.
It's very smooth under the towel. When you've properly decontaminated, you've got your drying aid. Very enjoyable, Evan.
Yes, and the drying aid actually does help the towel to absorb better. It does help the drying.
Now this is probably the 8th car I've dried with this drying blanket, so it started out a little bit wetter than I would normally start. A little bit wet, it dries nicely. Very wet, you might see a little bit of moisture on the car. So it's not like this isn't drying well, it's just, it's a very well-used drying blanket.
Yeah,
we go back to back to back here in the studio, don't we?
Right. So today this has dried a full-size car and a large truck. So
it's still going strong.
And now a Miata.
Yep.
And as I mentioned, the top has a bit of a leaking to it. So let me get these drips off of the window on the inside as well as the outside. And we'll finish off the towel by drying the roof.
Look at how much moisture it picks up.
So you can see where the towel's been and where it hasn't. And hopefully we've removed some of these stains. A little bit.
Ivan, the exothermic method. It's not everything. We still had other things to do, but it's a nice way to start a deep dive detail.
Right, it's a good way, like you say, to start that deep dive detail, or you know the vehicle hasn't been washed in a long time. It's a way to get it started easily, safely, without the need for products that you don't already have. You should already have All Clean, you should already have water spot remover.
There's many branches that we could go, right? We could have not used a drying aid and we could have waxed it.
Yes.
We could have not used a drying aid and we could have polished it. We could have not used a drying aid and done a 3-step polish. There's so many things you can do. This is just one way to wash your car and it works very well.
Exactly. With that, we have other ways of washing cars. We had another Miata in here that was actually lower than this one. Let's take a look at that one, right here.